All right, so we're going to talk about solving systems of equations by substitution. So this is our second method to solve, okay? So there's 3 steps. So with substitution, the first thing you want to do is solve. So the first one you want to do is solve to get a variable alone. So you want to solve for x equals 4y equals. So we want to take these equations and we either want to get y alone or x alone only for one of them. Once you do that, you then plug it in or substitute into the other equation. And then you solve for x and y. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, my handwriting is terrible today. So I know those were quick directions and not super clear, right? So the first thing we want to do is to get either x or y alone in one of the equations. So here's our x's, and here's our y's. And any of these equations, either one of these, are your x's alone? Is it just x equals something? No. Okay, how about y equals? Yeah, we have a y equals in this one, right? This one's y equals. Okay, so I don't need to do step 1 then, because it's already like that. So we're going to take this part of the equation and plug it in anywhere I see y. So anywhere I see y in this first equation, I'm going to substitute this whole thing in. So I see y right here. So I'm going to rewrite the first half of my equation, minus 3x minus 4. Now I'm going to plug in what y is equal to. Y is equal to 2x minus 5. And I'm going to finish writing my equation out. So, again, since y was alone, we could plug this in for y. We're replacing that y. So see, now there's no y's in this equation now. So now we can solve this equation for x, okay? So thinking back on how to solve equations, first thing we want to do is to distribute this -4 to everything in the parentheses. So -4 times 2 is -8x. -4 times -5 is a positive 20. You just bring your -3x down and bring down the -2, right? Maybe draw the river if that helps. Sorry. Okay, so now you're going to combine your like terms. We have a -3x minus 8x. -3 minus 8 is -11x. Bring down the rest of the equation. Now we're going to try to get x alone. So we want to move this 20 over. We do that by subtracting 20. Those cancel. We're left with -11x equals, since these are both negative, it's a -22. I need to write a little smaller. Divide by -11. X equals 2. I'll just write it below the line. Okay, so I get x is equal to 2. So I've solved for x. Now I need to solve for y. So what I'm going to do now is take this 2 and plug it in where I see x at, over here. So I have y equals 2x, but I'm replacing x with 2 minus 5. So we want to solve for y. 2 times 2 is 4 minus 5. What is 4 minus 5? 4 minus 5 is -1. So now I have my x and my y, and I want to write my answer as an ordered pair. So if you have room on this line, you're going to write your ordered pair. I don't really have room, so I'm going to write it below the line. So my ordered pair is 2 for my x and -1 for my y. So this is my answer. Okay? So we did a lot of stuff in there, right? So we had to get an equation alone for either x or y. In this case, we already had one. Then we needed to plug it in to our first equation. Solve to get x alone. Once I had x, then I needed to find y by plugging that 2 in where I saw x. And then that's my answer. Okay, so we're going to do another example together. So let's do another one. So do I have my x's alone here? No. How about y's? Are my y's alone? No, right? So neither one of these has x equals something or y equals something. So we're going to want to get x or y alone in one of these equations. So if I'm being honest, what I look for is there just an x or is there just a y? So like in the second equation, this is 4x and this is 8y. So neither one of those is just x or y. But in this first one, we have an x and a 2y. So I'm going to focus on this x. How can I get this x alone? Well, I could get that x alone by moving this 2y to the other side. And if I move that 2y, since it's minus, it'd be plus 2y. Now I'm going to have x is equal to 2y plus 3. So now I have an x alone. So now I can take this and plug it in for x over here. So let's do that. So we have 4 times our x, which is 2y plus 3. Keep on writing the rest of the equation. Minus 8y equals 12. Again, now we need to distribute. So it's like solving an equation, rewriting the rest of it. Again, if it helps, draw the river. You need to combine your like terms. But we have 8y minus 8y. Okay, when I do that, that's going to give me 0y, which I don't write. So it's going to be 12 is equal to 12. Is 12 equal to 12? Hopefully you're saying, yes, 12 is equal to 12. And remember, when I solve an equation like this, what does it mean? Well, it means one of two things. It's either no solution or infinite solutions. Remember that? So since it's equal, since it is true, it's infinite. So that's what we're going to write here. I'm just going to write the infinity sign, but you can write infinite solutions. Either one. Okay. So I want you to try example 3 on your own. So I want you to pause and I want you to try example 3 on your own, okay? And when you unpause, there's going to be a little bit of work there, but it's not going to be the whole problem solved, okay? So pause and try example 3 as far as you can get. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do, remember, is to either get x alone or y alone. So again, you want to look at the numbers in the problem, right? So this is 7y and that's 6x. So I really wouldn't move those because I don't want to deal with fractions, right? But in the first equation, you have an x alone. So that's why we want to deal with that one. We have just an x. So we want to get that x alone, and we could do that by moving that 5y to the other side, and you'd get x is equal to 5y plus 11. Once you get that, you're going to take this equation and plug it in wherever you see x at in that equation. I see x there. And then I rewrite the equation, replacing x with this 5y plus 11. So that's where that came from. Now you're going to want to start solving this. Remember to distribute not just a 6, but a negative 6. Okay. And then keep on going down the line, okay? Once you get whatever x is equal to, you're going to plug that in back over here to that equation, okay? And then remember your ordered pair is x comma y. So whatever you get for x, put it there. Whatever you get for y, put it there. And we'll go over this in class next time we see you, okay? So we'll go over the answer and if you want to talk about this. All right. So get working.